Yo, what's up? If you don't know me, I go by 20 Pass on the internet. I've been mixing for about 4 years, and in this video I'm going to share what actually took my mixes to the next level. So what actually took my mixes to the next level was leveling, but I'm not talking about mixer leveling. I'm talking about using the channel rack to level, because I don't want to look at the individual numbers that are on the mixer when I am leveling, so I'll dive deeper into that. I don't use the mixer faders when I do level. I use the channel rack, and I'll tell you why actually. So one day, about I want to say like 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago, I was just on my computer learning more about mixing, trying to dive deeper into learning more about mixing. Then I came across some information basically saying that we as humans cannot tell the difference between levels in dB as far apart as 0.2 dB. When me at that time, I would personally level as specific as I could. So like I'd be going down and adjusting levels all the way down to like a 0.dB, like 0.dB up or 0.dB down. And basically from that information that I just learned, that's false. Like you literally cannot perceive that, which made me think that this is like a placebo effect, like in my head, in my own psychology, you know. And so I thought a little bit deeper, like if that's true, then I should start mixing without looking at any type of numbers or like indicators of like where I'm at, basically. So that got me thinking, like, how can I actually do this? And a light bulb went off. There are volume knobs on the channel rack, and when you move them, there is no numbers that associate with them besides the ones in the top left, but I'll explain why that is actually a good thing in a little bit. So basically why that is so huge is because there's no numbers associated with that, so it forces you to just look at the big picture. That's all you're looking at, is just the big picture of the leveling. Now, leveling is arguably like the most important thing in mixing, because like if the levels are off, it doesn't matter if you tone balance right, or you know, it doesn't matter if everything's right. If the leveling is off, it's not gonna sound right, you know, especially to an average like listener that can't tell the difference between all the moving instruments. Basically, if this sounds good or bad, they just know what's in front, what's supporting it, and what's behind it, and if it sounds good or not. Like if it's too they just hear like the ultimate big picture is basically what I'm trying to say. So once I realized this, I then just started going at it using only that. Like I would only use that to like do all of my leveling, and then on the mixing side I would try like my very best to use as little processing as I can. Like the less plugins, the better. And basically with all that, here I am today. I know what works. I know how to get my mixes to translate well. I know how to increase perceived loudness. I know how to do all that. Now I'm gonna tell you why I think you should also try to do this as well. So one thing I like about this is that you don't get too caught up in the specific details too much, because you literally can't see them. On the mixer track, there's nothing but the knobs that I use to tell me the type of information. If I do want to actually look at the numbers, they'll show in the top left the specific numbers for what I'm leveling. But there's a downside to this that actually like encourages or promotes not looking at it, and it's the fact that the display of numbers is like very small. It's like not appealing to look at it at all, and it's not near the actual knob. So like if you're looking at your screen, you would literally have to take your eyes off of the knobs and then look all the way up to the left to then look at very small text to tell you actually what you're doing. So it doesn't actually promote the look of actually looking at the numbers. Real quick, if you find any of this information valuable, check out my school community. The link is in the description. Right now it's free, but once I hit 50 members, I'm making the price $50. Inside, you'll learn how to train your ears, learn my method of how to get good, quick, simple mixes fast, as well as 4 other bonus modules. Skip the months or years of trial and error and get real feedback so you can actually learn faster. Back to the video. Another thing I use when leveling like this is just switching the master to mono. I like doing this because it combines everything on top of each other, and you can really get the feel for what's masking this or that, what needs to be turned up or what needs to be turned down, what needs to be taken out. I view it like a focal point of what actually matters. I'll divide the sounds up in my head from like a lead to supporting to background. I find this makes it easier for the listener to follow along to the music without feeling like they're being overwhelmed with sound, like they're just being attacked by a wall of sound and they can't really pinpoint anything out because there's nothing taking the lead, there's nothing supporting, everything's just all together, if that makes sense. If this video was helpful, check out the community, join, and ask me anything. Peace out.